Got day 7 rolling on, people. Day 7. Let's get after it. Come on. We got Let's Go Jared. Let's Go Jared now. I'm really excited because we might have a little special something coming on. A little special something. We might get a little interview with Jared. And I'm really stoked about that. I'm working on that right now, the schedule. But happy day 7, people. How you doing today? Today's Monday. We just had a banger of a weekend, didn't we? We had a great time this weekend. We had a fantastic live on Saturday. If you guys didn't check that out, go check it out. We even got John on the go. He was in his car. Can you believe that? He was driving around like a Looney Tune. I don't even know what he's up to, but you know, we'll get him any way we can take him. You know what I'm saying? If even if you're on the go, we'll take it, and it just adds a little more spice, a little more fun. And you know, it's funny because James was all wound up talking about that Diddy stuff and that whole documentary coming out, bro. He knew it all, so that was a lot of fun. Had a good time doing that. Riley even popped in a little bit, so that was fun too. Then on Sunday we had that fantastic Ryan Harkness conversation, bro. If you guys haven't listened to that, go listen to it. It's tremendous, man. The stuff, I didn't even know what we were going to talk about. I thought we were going to talk about his raccoon, talk about his coonskin cap, talk about all the chickens he's got to kill. I was going to ask him, what's he going to eat for Christmas? Is it going to be more chicken or turkey or, you know, all that good stuff? And ask him more about the kill cones and how all that works and everything. But we got to talking about real deal shit, people. The real deal stuff, like making a deal with the devil kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff I want to talk about. We talked about, you know, what it means to be creative, how not to get captured by the algorithm or even captured by your own audience. Audience capture is a real thing, you know. If you form your, you know, your platform around drama and all that stuff, and then you try to switch it over to being a positive life influence or something like that, oh, your audience is going to cry, cry, cry. It's kind of like if you give your kid candy, and then all of a sudden you want to give them some Brussels sprouts, they ain't having it. They ain't happy about it. So they want you to go back to doing what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? So that was really interesting. And then we even talked about different aspects of how to be creative and how to, what is it that impacts being creative, and how do you deal with being online so much, and how does that impact creativity? And you know, I definitely view online content more as process content because you're not out there in the real world getting that depth and the complete experience of the consequences and the opportunities and the adventures that are happening in the real world. You know, you don't get yourself in the little binds and then have to solve that problem and get out of it, and then you get more accomplished. You know, you get your skill points based upon that in the real world, but you don't get that on the internet. You don't. It's just all a bunch of, it's turned into what, you know, the internet used to be about, like learning stuff and having a good time. Now it's turned into all kinds of drama. It feels like I'm in a big sewing circle at church or something with about, well, all these women around going, oh, did you hear who did this to what and that and who and everything? And then you go for a little lull and you're like, oh, I can't wait till more drama comes up, a little more gossip. You know, and then Ryan did make a good point. You know, you get that kind of scroll or that drama fatigue, you know, where it's kind of like it's always the same shit. You know, you get it, oh, it's pretty good for a minute, then it's like, oh, okay, now what? Now what? And I used to feel this way a lot when I was younger, and I'd be watching something like the NBA title or like the Super Bowl or something. I'd be all excited, you know, to watch the Super Bowl. And then they're playing the game, and then you see them win, and you're sitting there watching them, and they're all cheering, and they're popping champagne bottles, and they're going to go and do all that stuff. And then you turn off your TV, and you're back at home. And you're looking around. Oh, okay. Or like, you know, the Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or whoever wins the NBA title, they're in the locker room, they got their goggles on, spraying the champagne, and then it ends. Well, thanks guys, thanks for watching this season. Stay around for next season, you dumb suckers. And then you turn off the TV and you're like, you're back at your life, you know? You're back at your life. You just gave all that time from the season, all to those people playing that sport, and you're watching it, and then it's gone. And then you're in the same spot. You have to wait till the next thing to come along to entertain you is, you know. That's a lot what it's like. You get fatigued with that. Or we were talking, chit-chatting about like gambling and, you know, going to the slot machines. And the thing that keeps people at the slot machines is, oh, it could be the next pull. Oh, I think it's getting ready to burst. Oh, I think it's going to hit the jackpot this next time. Oh, just one more time, just one more time. And then 12 hours later, you haven't eaten nothing, you hadn't drank nothing, but, you know, whatever, you smoked a whole bunch, and you're sitting there frazzled, just one more time, you know, and it keeps you on the psychological hook. And that's what they have turned the social media into. If you don't remember, they did a whole big study for about a decade about how to gamify social media so that there's an addiction component to it. And just like it's gambling, ooh, we'll keep going, we'll keep going. Maybe I'll see something I didn't expect, you know, instead of then letting that go and turning to your life and putting that energy into your life, which is the most important thing. It's the most important thing. And in order to do that, you got to reestablish your connection with creativity. You really have to do that. So how do you do that, Ray? How do you reestablish your connection with creativity? How's that work? Well, number one, you got to be excited. What you excited about? What are you excited about? Based upon what you're excited about is how you navigate your life. You know what I'm saying? Some people are excited about horses. They just absolutely love horses, love training horses, love doing the horseshoes, love bringing a colt up to a thoroughbred and watching them run, and they love all that stuff. Me, I don't like it. I don't like that kind of thing. I do love looking at horses and stuff like that and being around horses, but I wouldn't want to work in the horse industry, right? I like art, and they wouldn't like art. But maybe somebody else likes flowers and wants to be a florist. Well, that's how you know how you should navigate your life, with what excites you. It's already in there. It's innate. Don't deny it. If you deny it, it's going to overwhelm you at some point in your life. You're going to be in there. You're going to be like 63 years old. Maybe you are a mortician. You own a nice, you know, place where they bury people or whatever. You own a funeral home, and then all of a sudden you say, oh, shit. I should have been a sailor. I want to give all this up and have a midlife crisis and go be a sailor. You know, you get your little boat out there and you're like, oh, now I'm in it. Now you feel the wind on your face. Oh, this is what it's all about. You know, so number one, what are you excited about? You know, fuel that excitement, you know, feed it, you know, protect it. How do you protect it? Number two, keep that critical eye in the hole, okay? The critical eye is always going to want to pop up and say, you motherfucker, you're supposed to be in that mortuary dealing with them dead people. You don't deserve to be out on the ocean. And that's when you say, shut up, get behind me. I ain't talking to you no more. Get in the hole. And then you go out and get on the ocean, okay? And then the third thing is a schedule, right? You want to keep that schedule. So maybe you have to work at your mortuary, but then you hurry up and get your work done, and every day by 3 o'clock, you're out there at that high tide. You put your little sailboat in the water, and you're 63-year-old man learning how to sail, okay? Maybe get yourself a little pirate hat or whatever, maybe a little hook, maybe a little sword, maybe a little parrot. You don't know, right? But that's what you got to do. And you might be saying, Ray, I don't know, man. I ain't a little spring chicken no more. I ain't 20 years old. I ain't 15. I ain't whatever. It's too late for me, Ray. Well, I got something to tell you. If you're listening to this and you're still breathing, it ain't too late. That's the facts of the matter. The only thing is you got to overcome the justification that you're using to stay in the mode of your own life currently. Think about that, all right? You're justifying staying in your own life, all right? Don't take the easy way out. Take the exciting way out. Take the excitement, okay? That's what I would encourage you to do. That's what I would say to you. And that's what our talk with Ryan Harkness was a lot about on Sunday. And so that was awesome, okay? So go back and listen to that if you haven't listened to it. Shit, come on now. So remember, number one, be excited. Number two, critical eye in the hole. Number three, keep that schedule going so you got that traction. Even little nickels and dimes of time add up over a little period and change your life. And then what happens is you start to get momentum. Momentum's a game changer. It's a multiplier. whatever you were doing, it starts to multiply it by 2, starts to multiply it by 3, by 10, by 12, by 14, by 30, all the way up to an exponential point, if you can get there. All right, and that's what's really exciting, is to curate that process and propel it forward, okay? So that's what all I wanted to say today about that, and so that's pretty exciting, you know? I got all that 9 minutes out the way. How about that, James? Can't beat that now, can you? Now, I'm really excited, too, because tomorrow we're going to have on old Johnny Rocket. Johnny motherfucking Rocket, okay? Now, he wrote The Maniac, you know, 1 and 2, and he's writing some other stuff. He writes a whole big Substack. If you haven't subscribed to a Substack, you should do that. It's really good. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description. If I don't remember, for sure I'll remember tomorrow, because he's going to be on tomorrow, okay? Now, he also wrote Elephant for Ethan Van Sciver, and the way that he came to prominence is Johnny did something really clever. Okay, Johnny, he has his normal job anyway. He got a whole wife and all that. He got a whole life, people. He's just not this online persona. Just Johnny motherfucking Rocket. I put the motherfucking in there because it sounds more fun. You know what I'm saying? So it's Johnny motherfucking Rocket. He's got his own job, whatever. But when Iceland came out, he rewrote it. And he was so clever that he cut out the different parts of the real comic book and used them in different spots of his own story when he rewrote it. And it was really clever. So he reused the artwork, rewrote the story, rearranged it all, put it on a website, and then put it out there for everybody to see. And everybody just went bonkers over it. And they all loved it. And they all said, Ethan, did you see this? Ethan, did you see this? Of course. And of course, Ethan on Trashcast, he saw it. And I spilled a little bit of my water right there. Got to wipe it up. He saw it, and he played it on Trashcast. And everybody went bonkers over it. And then he said, well, maybe I should hire this guy. Maybe I should hire this guy. So Johnny Rocket took a risk, right? He did what he was excited about, put it out there, wasn't afraid to be measured or criticized. Turns out it was great. Turns out an opportunity popped up. Somebody saw it. Ethan saw it, said, Johnny, would you like to write this comic book for me? Johnny said, hell yeah, I'll do it. So then Johnny did it. And then Johnny started writing all kinds of other comic books. That's how you change your life. Johnny motherfucking Rocket changed his life. All right? And it's in transition right now. Hell, he could be full-time writing this time next year. You never know, right? Things don't happen all at once. Things happen over time, and then all of a sudden, the momentum multiplier kicks in, and then it seems like it's all at once, because bam, overnight, the multiplier kicks in, everybody else is aware of your work, and they all say it's great, and they all throw money at you. Well, maybe that's not quite how it works, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So we're going to talk to Johnny motherfucking Rocket tomorrow. And I'm really excited about that. So be sure to be here tomorrow, okay? I'm all excited. I'm getting ahead of my words. That happens, people. No big deal. No big deal. Then on Wednesday, we got the Bruvs Unite, but we're going to have a special guest, Forest Mommy. Forest Mommy's going to be on Bruvs Unite. That's going to be a lot of fun. I think she'll be like the first woman to jump on. And I'm really excited to talk to her. We're going to talk all about all kinds of stuff, okay? It's going to be a Forest Mommy evening, all right, with the Bruvs. And we're going to get her to talk to us about a little bit of this politics, a little bit of stuff that she's really fired up about. Then we're going to get her to talk about some of her like favorite cookie recipes or whatever, and some other kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Got to sprinkle some drama in there just to make it a little spicy. That's what we're going to do. So I'm excited about that. Then I think on this weekend we're going to have, I'm trying to get this set up, an interview with Jared. Okay, he's in town. If you don't know Jared, here's Jared. He's our judo champ. All right, there he is right there on the mug. We got a Let's Go Jared right there. We're going to try to get him in studio. In studio, people, with this Pops. Going to try to get them both. Probably try to get them both on the interview a little bit. That'd be interesting. I'd love to see the father-son dynamic, you know. We'll get them in the studio. In the studio! And we'll have a fun chat with them. He's the one, if you're not familiar, he grew up doing judo, getting good at it. Then he became he was going to go to college, decided not to. Decided to become a plumber because he had a friend whose father was a plumber or something like that. So he went and apprenticed that for about 2 years. And then he said, what the hell am I doing? I got to get back to doing my judo. I want to really make a run at this. And so he did. He got back to judo. He made a run at it. Got his black belt, which is a big deal. Getting your black belt. Big deal. It ain't something you just level up like in Kung Fu, karate, or something like that. You got to go and with jiu-jitsu or judo, I mean, with judo, you got to go and you have to, you know, grapple with the black belts, and they have to be on a tribunal and approve your black belt, because it comes with some credibility, because you could then open up a dojo yourself and teach and all that. So it's a pretty heavy thing. You got to go and you got to be weighed, you got to be measured, and you got to be approved of by the patriarch of judokos. Judokos. That's how you say it. So that's a big deal. So he went and he did that. Okay? Then he started entering matches. And then what he did is he started to compete to try to get on the USA judo team. And he actually made it. So they offered him an invitation to come to the USA Judo Training Center. I think it's in South Carolina or North Carolina. Maybe North Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina. And so that's where he's been. He's been training in North Carolina and the judo team, trying to gear up for the Olympics in 2 years. And so that's what he's been doing. He's been going around international. He's been doing all kinds of matches. And so there's another guy that took a risk on himself, betted on himself, followed his excitement, put the critical eye on the hole, did the schedule, and now he's being successful. Okay? Now, you might say, Ray, well, he hadn't won any gold medals yet. Well, he's already made it. Don't you see? Johnny Rocket's already made it. He doesn't have the money yet. It's coming. He's already made it, though. He's already doing what he loves to do. That's the ticket, right? We got Jared over here. He's already doing what he loves to do. He's built his life around judo, and now all that remains is time. As time goes, it's going to stack up higher and higher, and then he'll have everything that he wants to have, right? That's how it works. You become what you practice, okay, people? You become what you practice. And so we're going to talk to him. And then in the future, we got, we're going to have a Bruvs Unite Christmas, and I got Ebi Canales. I'm going to try and get him on for a Basque Christmas. I want to hear all about the Basque Christmas, so we're going to talk about that. And I got a few other people I'm trying to line up, but I'll let you guys know as that comes down. It's the Christmas season. You know, everybody's like, oh, Ray, I'd love to, but maybe next year. Or they say, Ray, who the fuck are you? You only have like whatever subs you got. So give me more subs, people, or whatever. Hit that like button, all that shit. Repost it and help me get bigger so I can interview these bigger people. I'm still enthralled by the fact that we got to interview Matthias Adelson. That was a fantastic interview. Very generous man to give us an hour of his time. He's extremely busy and very successful artist. So I'm very thankful for that. That was fantastic. And it'll help me get more interviews too, because I'll say, look, I interviewed Matthias. He's awesome. And everybody, oh, Matthias. Yes, okay. And they'll come over for an interview. So that's awesome. I'm excited about that. All right, so what are we doing today, people? What are we doing? All right, so today we're going to talk about the 20s, okay? Now, before we jump into the 20s, I want to talk about some of the influences going on in the 20s, you know, because when you look down at fashion, when you look down at entertainment, it's a litmus test for where the society is or where the people that are in control of these industries are trying to push society. And you're like, Ray, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And what I'm talking about is, for example, in the 1920s, you got the 1910s, 1920s, you had a big push for wanting to have women seek out equality with men. You had a big push for that. You had this suffrage movement. You had all these people that are trying to be like, women need the right to vote. Women need to be seen more as a masculine. Women need not to be taken care of by men. They need to be their own person. And why the fuck would they want to do that? You know, why? That sounds really sweet and tempting on the surface, right? It sounds like somehow women are being demeaned, but that's not the truth. Women were at home, they were taken care of. You know, there was this thing called chivalry, where men looked upon women as like this beautiful piece of society that needed to be protected, needed to be nurtured, needed to be tended to. Where men went off and they dealt with the nastiness of society, the nastiness of the natural world, and then they tried to buffer the women from it so the women could live maybe a softer life or maybe a more feminine life, and then raise their children and have a happy home. But somewhere these people that were in charge of everything decided, we need to change that. And so you have those influences starting to come through in the 20s, okay? And so back then in the 20s, you had Edward Bernays. If you're not familiar with Edward Bernays, you should go look him up. He's was claimed to be the forefather, the grandfather, the patriarch of propaganda, the patriarch of marketing, the patriarch of psychological influence upon society through commercialization, okay? And he came up with this concept called the torches of freedom. And so what he did was there was a lot of these cigarette companies, and they were like only selling to men. It was smoking was predominantly a masculine hobby, I guess you want to call it, and they were looking at it like, wow, we're missing out on half of the population, which is women. So we need, how do we get women to smoke? Well, they came up with this concept, this torches of freedom. Edward Bernays came up with it, and so what they would do is on New Year's they ran down there and they staged a whole bunch of women that were doing a protest, and their protest was they walked in this parade or something, and they all smoked, and he had the press there to take pictures of it, and they put these pictures of these women that were showing society that they could smoke too, and then they went ahead and put those in all the magazines and all the fanfare and put it up everywhere, and so women across the country said, oh my God, I got 2 fingers, I got a mouth, and I could suck. I'll smoke too. And so they all ran out and they all started smoking. And that was Edward Bernays who did that, okay? And that reminds me a lot of this concept of the Garden of Eden. You got Adam and Eve and Lucifer. Edward Bernays is Lucifer. He comes by and says, hey, Eve, why don't you smoke? The only reason why they're telling you not to smoke is because they don't want you to be equal to men. And she says, I want to be equal to men too. So she grabs that cigarette and starts smoking, okay? And that was a part of the genesis of the feminization movement, the feminist movement, okay? And so that's very, very interesting. So then we start to see that in the fashion of the time. You have other influences like Alphonse Mucha, who did Art Nouveau. Now I'll try to flash up, you know, some pictures of Alphonse Mucha over here or something like that. And I really like his art, and I really love his drawings. But he was he's a social engineer. He was through and through a social engineer, a part of secret societies in order to drive the fashion female mind in a certain direction. And you can see he was the progenitor of a lot of this Art Nouveau, a lot of the flapper era, a lot of the shorter hair, women cutting their hair in rebellion to show men, oh, I don't need long, sexy hair for the male gaze, you know. And it starts to put that spirit of rebellion against men into women. And really what it's doing is it's introducing the pimp into the relationship, and the pimp is the one who's in the female's ear against her husband. And so isn't that interesting that the woman would choose to go with the pimp against her husband? They're very much the same as Lucifer with Adam and Eve. Eat the apple, smoke the cigarette. You should have a job and go and serve your boss at work, but don't serve your husband. So that's very interesting. So you start to see a lot of that stuff start to present itself in the 1920s fashion, and as we move to the 1930s, but we're talking maybe mid to late 1920s. The early 1920s was far more conservative, and it starts to make that transition from how the women look maybe in the 1910s, the 1900s, towards the 1920s, towards the 30s, gearing up to the 40s, where they shoved women into the workforce with the Rosie the Riveter campaign and all kinds of stuff like that. But hold up, Ray, we're just going to talk about the 20s today, okay? Just going to talk about the 20s, okay? So we're going to come down here. We're going to come down to camera number 2. So here we go. So I got 2 ladies laid out right here. Okay, now I did this for the sake of time. Now one of these days I'll go back to doing the pencils so you can see me doing it, all right? I got my 4 Sharpies, okay, that's what we're going to work with today. Our fine, small, medium, and large. Got my 4 Sharpies right here. Let me throw on my glasses. Got my nice little eraser right here, okay. And I just love the traditional medium. Love it, love it. I love to touch it. I love to smell it. Smell that paper. Smell that nice little pencil. Smell. Gotta get high off these guys. Smell. Oh, I'm already getting high right now. That smells so good. Do you ever sniff a pen? Oh, pen smells so good. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Then we got our Ohuhu markers, okay? We got these guys right here. Our big pack of Ohuhu markers. You guys can see them right there. And all of the links for these are down in the description if you want to go ahead and get some of those. If you're like, Ray, I love those. Now, I got some other packs of Ohuhu markers too. Remember, I love to use the Honolulu edition. The Honolulu edition is the way to go, people. If you're not using the Honolulu edition, you're missing out, okay? So, I got some other Ohuhu markers over there. Some of them are skin tones. Some of them are something else, you know, pastels, I think. I'm not sure. But they're for some other things, so we'll get to that, okay? Now, I got myself two flappers, okay, with short hair, with the beautiful things, and I got a little Alphonse Mucha action going on in the background right here and right here. So we're just going to go ahead and come down and ink these quickly. And when I say quickly, I'm just really excited to get to the color palette, get to the marker stage and all that. And I love doing that, okay? So we got this young lady up here, and she's got her hair going like so. And one of the things that I love about fashion is I love to abstract the different components of the body. You don't have to make it all perfect, and I love to abstract the components. Now I'm just going to come down here and try to get these, I'm drawing at an angle, so this might be a little funky. I'm just going to try and get these features, very soft features in here very quickly so we can move on. And the thing I love about it is, you know, you don't even have to really draw a mouth. You can kind of draw, if you can get the abstractions right, you'll just put a couple marks down and they automatically come together and make what the mouth and what the eye, what the nose is supposed to be. And I absolutely love and adore that about artwork. That's the magic, I think, about the artwork. Okay, so we have more of a, this one is more of a silhouette. It's more of a hip hugger type of dress. It's more of a more conventional. It's still in that transitional period of the era. You know, it didn't go fully. This is, I would say, this is fully flapper over here. This one is more of a transition. The reason I would say that is because it still has remnants of the old types of style. Like it still has this big frock, or I think that's what you call it, this big run up, what I'm drawing right now, the big lapel that would go over shoulders. And so you would have a little bit more shoulder coverage right there. Let's go up here. I want to make sure I get this fun thing in her hair. She has like a feather thing going on in her hair. Okay. All right. We got her hair coming down like so. Very nice curls, but it's a short haircut. Okay, it's a short haircut, which was indicative of the time. A little bit of a rebellion, like I said, against the long hair. And you know, it's really crazy that women want to cut their long hair in order to, I don't know, feel free or feel like they're, I don't know what they think they're doing, but you know, it definitely limits their beauty. And that's a very interesting concept to me. Why they would work so hard to be attractive, and then at the same time, at the drop of the hat, because they see other women doing it, they get rid of it. Now she's got her legs crossed a bit, as you can see, and I'm also trying to put in some of these, some of this style, some of this embroidery, and they had a lot of embroidery within this dress, and you can see that. And she has her hip right here. Now, I like to do the fine lines first because it gives me a chance to really abstract, but it also lets me know where I can protect the white when I come back in with the Big Daddy marker. Okay, and that's crucial, right? So we got some of this right here, and maybe she has like a big piece of jewelry right here. I don't know. We'll throw that in for fun. Okay. Now she's gonna have her arm come down like this, and pearls was a really big thing then, and that was kind of like you know, a holdover from the earlier decade. So they loved their pearls, whether they were pearl bracelets or pearl necklaces or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, pearl necklaces. Now, you know what pearl necklaces are. ZZ Top had a song about pearl necklaces. Wait a minute, Ray. I think that's something else. Yeah, that's something else. That's a little bit more. Now, this is feathers. But, you know, you got to keep it spicy. Once you've had a little bit of a sexual drama in your life, it's a lot of fun. You know, like how James is always talking about flirting with women. Once you kind of master flirting with women, you can flirt with any woman. And then it becomes a lot of fun. So we'll go ahead and put that right there. Maybe it's like a comb, a fan, or something like that. I don't know. Okay. So then we're going to come back down here. We're going to slam in her arm. I'm going to adjust it just a bit because I can tell it's a little bit out of sorts. Like so. Okay. And we're just trying to remember, abstract it out. The more you practice the abstractions, the better you're going to get at them. And I tell you what, the abstractions are going to really add a ton to your drawing. Okay, people, a ton. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to go ahead and outline this like so. Okay, like so. Now I got some cool designs in here, some cool Alfonso Mucca designs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the inversion of it. Okay, that's a lot of fun. Outline the inversion. These are circles, but I'm just going to outline the inversion of them, the negative space. And I forgot to get this all the way around here, so we're going to have to just kind of use our hand to pivot with it. There we go, something like that. Kind of messed it up a little bit. But if you mess it up, just add another line to it, okay? Just add another line to it, no big deal. All right, like that right there. And then we got some circles in here, some circles in here. And we're going to go ahead and do the negative space right there too. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Some circles right there. Maybe a little more feather action right there. Something like that. Some circle right there. So that looks fun. So that looks good. We're good. We're done with her. We can leave her bottom. We can add the outline of silhouette of her legs if we want. You know, if she had something like that. Who knows? But we'll call her done real quick. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get the top of this circle. And boom, there we go. Now we're pretty much done with her. Maybe a couple of things in here. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next one. She has more of a flapper dress. And one of the things that she has big time is she has these pearls. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this long necklace of pearls. And they wore these all the time. They loved all this kind of stuff. I mean, if you've been to a costume party or anything like this, or watched The Great Gatsby perhaps, or anything like that, you know what I'm talking about. They loved all these pearls. And I think, like I said, I think that was more of a holdover from the decade previous. Okay. Go ahead and put, maybe she has her eyes closed. She has a headband on. Give her some hair. Gotta make her head a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm just you can see that more clearly. There we go, right there. Working on her right there. And these are just the raw bones of what I'm drawing, right? The second pass I often use to fix any disproportionate mistakes or shapes that I want to change. And you know, if I see it, like maybe the eyes should be different or the lips should be bigger, and I made her lips a lot bigger right there. You can see. Let me go ahead and try to get that a little smaller. But now we can see how her head needs to be a little bit wider, so we'll widen the head up just a little bit. Add a little bit of hair back there. Got her neck coming down like so. You got to be careful when you're changing these things, because you're going to change the proportion. And sometimes you could change the proportion and get the head right, but then it's all out of whack for the rest of the drawing, and you get all frustrated. Trust me, I've done that many, many times. Okay, no big deal. So then we have more of our, it's an embroidered form-hugging shape right here. And we have, in the middle, we have this all-seeing eye. And that kind of represents a little bit of what the 20s were all about, if you think about that. You had the Little Rascals, you know, that's when television, and you had the silent movies going on back then, and The Little Rascals had a lot of this secret society stuff throughout. A lot of initiation stuff. Even Disney had a lot of it. Well, I don't think Disney was around at that time, but a lot of the earlier animation definitely had a lot of it. And so we're going to go give her this kind of fish silhouette, fishtail silhouette. And then we're going to give her a lot of these fringes hanging down. They love their fringes. I can't blame them. That probably had a lot to do with the liberation of the dance, where the women went out there and really started to dance, started to act a lot more masculine. Now we'll give her some gloves right here. Like so. Have her shoulder coming over like so. You glove right there. A little bit of folds right there. She has a bracelet on the outside of her gloves right here. There she is. She's going to be holding her smokes, and they have these. Of course, if you haven't seen them, they're cigarette holders that really just extended the line, the elegant line of the cigarette, okay? Like so. And they would smoke them like that, okay? So it's a little bit like a peace pipe from maybe, you know, a Indian peace pipe or something like that. And then what we have is we have the Alphonse Mucha influence of the beautiful shapes under here to kind of give it an Art Nouveau style. Absolutely adore and love the Art Nouveau style. Love it in any form I see it, whether it's on a painting, on a print, on fine china or dishware. Yeah, they did that. They just put some flowers in here. And we're just going to abstract the shape. We're not going to worry about trying to delineate, because this is all about fashion and design, okay? And what I kind of think about is if these are winners, right? If these shapes are winners, then we'll come back and we'll give them the time that they're due. But in order to get a winner, you got to poop out a whole bunch of losers, you know? So you want to just be able to pump out your ideas at the drop of a hat. Okay, people? You want to be able to pump out your ideas at the drop of a hat. Give this a little inverse action right here. Okay, and so that looks like it's pretty fun right there. Alright, so we got that going on right there. Now let's go ahead and get rid of some of these lines and pencil so they don't smudge up all my markers. This done real quick. And I'm not always worried about speed. I just try to keep the videos in a reasonable level. You know, nobody wants to watch a 3-hour drawing video. That could really get to you. Get a little bit boring, if you know what I'm saying. And so I try to keep it interesting, try to keep it fun, try to keep it entertaining. I remember watching so many people draw, and I'd be sitting there like, oh my God, is it over yet? Like I'd be in class or something. Oh my God, are we still doing this? When can we start drawing? You know, and the most important thing is just to follow the point of view or the thought process of the teacher or the artist or whatever. And as soon as you can get that thought process, then you can be on your way and you can be learning what you're doing. And then it's all up to you for however much you want to practice. And that's what's important. So let's go ahead and give it a little bit of that right there. Okay. So now we can see that we have something fun going on. What I'd like to do is get this Big Daddy. Okay. I always love the Big Daddy because it's so much fun to use. Okay. I'm going to get the Big Daddy. We're just going to come in here and get some black going on. And you just got to be careful, you know, be thoughtful, be careful of the Big Daddy. And you can reshape things like I just did right there. Sometimes you do it on purpose, sometimes by accident, no big deal. But that's the approach that you should take, and it's more of an experimental approach, you know, to drawing, rather than sitting there trying to be like, oh, I gotta make this a good drawing. No. See, like I just destroyed. Look at that. I just destroyed her thumb. Her thumb's completely gone. Maybe she got in a car wreck, but that's okay. Okay, we're just gonna go with it, right? That's not what this is about. This drawing is not about that thumb. You can do little studies and whatnot about thumbs and in your sketchbook. Then it's about the thumb. See what I mean, people? But right now, this is about fashion. This is about the color palettes. This is about a lot of other things. Okay, so we're gonna go in here and just get this like nice black, this anchor that we can use to jump off against with the colors. It'll be real nice. All right. Let's go ahead and get that. Let me just go ahead and clean up some of these smaller ones with the medium. Reshape that. Alright, so we'll call that fantastic, okay? Now the question is, what in the hell are we going to do? Alright, so let's go ahead and, you know, they had a really muted color palette back then, so let's go ahead and go with a muted color palette. That's what I'm thinking, okay? So let me go ahead and pick a gray, and I'm just going to come in here with the gray, and we're just going to go over everything, except the parts that we want to have remain white, and of course, we got to figure out what we're going to do with her jewelry right there. This is why you get the Honolulu version, is because you love that chisel. That chisel's so nice. And it's okay if you go out of bounds and all that stuff, no big deal. Okay. Maybe put a little bit of gray up here in her hair. Maybe a little bit of gray right here as a foundational piece. Maybe even through here a little bit. Okay. So now we want to come in with a darker gray. And this might be a little bit purplish. And let's see where we're at. There we go. And just have a good time doing this. You know, this is the part where you're like, ooh, this is fun. Okay, I already did all the hard work. I got my drawing done. That was the hard work. Now I can have a good time, okay? So have a good time doing it. Just relax. And don't worry about making mistakes, because if you make a mistake, you'll just fix it. Just tell yourself that. If I make a mistake, I am just going to fix it, okay? No big deal. Give a little bit of depth right there, a little bit of depth right there. Go ahead and put her plume in there. Like so, okay. Now let's come down and leave some of this protected, some of these designs. All right. See, this is why you got the Honolulu, because on this side now you got the chisel. You see what I'm doing, people? Now you got the chisel. Now we'll come down here. We'll use, the fine point. Now we're going to use the chisel point right here, like so. We're going to reinforce the flow of the fabric like that. Let's go ahead and put these fringes in there, okay? So now let's go ahead. I'm not going to use that color for that. I want to use a burgundy for that. Okay, so now that I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and put that burgundy in there. Okay. Using that fine point to get those nice little details and those nice little feather actions in there. Okay. All right. Like so. And maybe we'll go ahead and add that burgundy up here in her head as well. And then we'll come back maybe with a softer pink it a little bit of a glow. Then what I'm thinking, just while we're at it, knock out a nice emerald for her necklace right there. She's got a nice big ass emerald. Maybe she's Elon Musk's grandfather's friend, because you know, I think they owned emerald mines or whatever. How funny is that? Can't remember. Then let's go ahead and put this pink. No, let's hold off on that. Let's go ahead and darken up some of this, some of her dress, some portions of her dress. And I'm just thinking about 3 different layers of color and allowing that color to generate the values. That's what I'm thinking about. And I'm thinking about the whole shape of each color rather than trying to do the complex shape. So I'm simplifying. And through that simplification, it adds the depth. When I do the layers, when I composite the layers together to create that simplification, it makes that thing come to life, and it changes the shape from a simple shape to a more complex shape. Okay, you see that? Okay, so she's having a good time. Now we'll go back up in here at the same pen and we'll give this some depth as well. Okay, see how nicely that kind of lays over that? Now the parts that I left poking through absorb and take on the color of that gray. Very nice. Okay, so she's got her little fan right there. Got her little fan, and we'll call that done on her dress. It looks pretty great right now. It looks a lot like the dress that I'm seeing. Now if you want to add a little bit of a shine to it, or a cool value, come and maybe on one side, like there's maybe some blue light, add a little bit of that blue light. Okay, add a little bit of that blue light. Okay, maybe it catches right there. See how nice that is? Now if you want to really do it on the other side, add a little bit of warm light. Okay, so she's got cool light on one side and warm light on the other. Okay, really adds something nice, really gives you a nice dimensionality to it, like so. You can see how that's going right there. Now, a really fun thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the Alphonse Mucha inspired color palette, which is a lot of tertiary colors, a lot of earth tones. So let's go ahead and grab an earth tone, maybe a green, and let's get after it, okay? And he left rings of white running through the entire thing, so we got something like this. Now remember, this is just to capture the idea, people. It's just to capture the idea. If you want to go ahead and push it more forward to a more complete rendering later, then that's a great idea to do that. You know, if you come across something and you're like, oh, I really like how that turned out, well then go ahead and push that to the more complete rendering the next time. Okay, so now I got a little bit of that blue, green. I'm going to go ahead and come in here and overlap some of it and give it a little bit of that life by blending the 2 colors together, the green and the blue. I'm not going to completely blend them together all the way. I'm just going to leave little stripes running through, okay? Little stripes. Like so. Alright. Now we'll go ahead and put like some kind of coral. It's crying out for a coral. You know, maybe something like this. Looks like I missed that blue on that one, didn't I? Let's do that real quick. Alright. And then I'll throw in a little bit of a yellow mustard, maybe. Yeah, that's it. That looks good. Okay, and there we go. There's our first one. Okay, see how nice that looks. A little inspired Alphonse Mucha with the 20s flapper kind of era. Looks beautiful. Looks fantastic. We could take it further, add stronger shadows if we wanted to, but in the essence of time, we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, we're going to get the next one going, and we're going to make it look nice. Okay, so this next one, perhaps it's a bit darker. Let's go ahead and take some of this purple. Oh, that's way too dark. We'll go with it. Pretty dark. It's going to really make the pearls pop, which is nice. And then maybe we'll do her arms as well. Make those pop. Now, it might seem really dark at first, but then as you go in, you might say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to use a darker, like a black next to it. Maybe that'll work it out. So initially, I'm thinking that's too dark, but we'll see what happens. All right, there we go. Okay. Let's go with the lighter gray. Now I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. Let me go ahead and grab something real quick. See if I can't. See how dark this is. Oh, that'll work. Okay. But sometimes you got to do that, right? Sometimes you just got to do that to check, to make sure. The color palette was pretty muted back then. Now, if we're doing it today, you might want to, do a twist on it and update the color palette a little bit, make it a little more exciting, perhaps. And maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll go ahead and we'll take a little bit of this, what was that, yellowish color. This maybe. Just kind of colored some of these panels, leave some of them not colored in. Then maybe take the same color and come out here and do her fringes. Now, what I'm thinking is, in order to really make that pop, you need a darker gray. So we'll come in here and we'll do this darker gray in this all-seeing eye. As it were. Go ahead and give her a nice darker up here, darken up this up. Maybe give her a little bit of a value right there. There, so on and so forth. Okay, now we'll take a darker greenish mustard for some of these fringes in between. Give it a little bit of depth. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to go back to the background. We want to get that Alphonse Mucha kind of influence back here. So we're going to take a little bit of this pink maybe. Then get some of this pink. Just kind of go like this. Just trying to get the generalization of what we're trying to do down. And then maybe we'll take a little bit of a darker color. Give these flowers a little bit, well, that's not going to work. Need something a little bit darker than that. A little bit more permanent. That's might be too dark, but we'll go with it. Got to give these flowers a little bit of depth. That looks nice. This is a part where I'm abstracting. Okay. Now, around them we want to do some of this beautiful green, because the green is going to mimic what their stems and leaves will look like. So we're working that into the design. Just on the color palette. Come back up to a nice blue, like a blue sky or something like that. Put this in here. Reddish coral, a little bit brighter. Okay. I would give that maybe a little bit of a brighter yellow or coral. Now I want to take a light gray, wipe out some of this. These whites. And probably some of the whites on the inside too. I'm just going over the whole thing. It blends it and also drops the value, which is nice. Okay. Kind of makes her pop even more. Right? Now I still got that white in there, but let's go ahead and instead of a white, let's turn it into a cream. But couldn't you see this on a plate or a saucer or something? That's kind of the goal. Okay, so that's the color palette that we're going to use. Okay, so there we go. All right, we got two women in the 20s right there. Boom, just chilling out, having a good time. Got the flapper dresses on, getting all wild and crazy out there. Just that easy. All right, we're gonna jump back up to. It looks all nice. You got a nice little page for your sketchbook for the 1920s with a little bit of the flapper influence. You got a little bit of the women's suffrage, trying to gain equality in their mind to men, cutting their hair shorter out of rebellion, changing the style. You got the all-seeing eye, which is indicative of the secret societies of the time. You got Alphonse Mucha in there for an influence. Tremendous graphic designer and illustrator. Artist Alphonse Mucha, who was also in secret societies, and you couldn't get much more 1920s than that, people. You couldn't get much more 1920s. Now, next time we'll touch on the 1930s. We'll see where that goes. Of course, during the 1930s, you had the Great Depression, so that made a big impact upon fashion. It's amazing what things make impacts upon fashion, whether it's the economic sphere, whether it's a cultural revolution, or even whether it's a new invention like pantyhose or something like that. Or even when you have synthetic materials start to pop up. You know, polyester is a good example. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that next time. Now get out there, kick some ass, and do me proud, people. Do me proud. Let's go, Jared.